brings a delightful tenure from Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to give a big warm, sunny Sydney welcome to the athletes. We're going to bring out a team from the USA first. Can you please welcome to the stand Miss Whitney Pavlik. And her partner, please give it up for Amanda Dowdy. The team from Japan, please welcome Takemi Nishibori. And her partner, Marie Wada. Alright, man, thanks for sticking around on Friday. Fun Friday, USA against Japan. Number 20 seed up against number 13 seed. It's going to be perfect for stars. Well, a good rally to start the match. If they're going to be like that all game, they're going to be tired. Japan get the first one. It's only one, folks. Point per rally. Every time I've always said someone gets a point. 1-0 Japan.
Well, if that is a taste of what's to come for this match, this is going to be an absolute ripper. A really good rally to start off between Japan at the far end of the court, as you're viewing it, and the United States at this end of the court, the American team of Pavlik and Dowdy taking on the Japanese conversation of Take and Wada. And it's locked at 1-1 at the moment. We already have one Japanese team through to the next round. If you were listening into our interview just a few minutes ago, they're the first ever win for Mizo and Hashimoto as a combination. This is their second tournament together. They lost at Fort Lauderdale in straight sets, but this is their first win today, and now we're waiting to see whether the second Japanese team can join them through into the second round here at Manly Beach. This is the FIVB World Tour. We have teams from all over the world competing. We've already seen today wins for Scotland and New Zealand, as well as Australia and Japan. So this is the fifth match of the day. Can the Americans make it 5 different teams from 5 matches? That's what they're looking to do. The weather conditions are holding firm. It's not what you'd call a summer's day, but then again it's not summer, but certainly it's testing, but it's nowhere near as bad as it could have been. The weather forecast really looked quite ominous last night, which was why the decision was taken to bring the start forward by 2 hours. And as so far the matches have been played in overcast, drizzly, a little bit windy, but not too bad conditions. So all the players that we've spoken to post their matches have been quite comfortable with the conditions out there. So I think we've so far, touch wood, we've dodged a bullet insofar as the weather is concerned. And there's a hardy crowd which has come in to watch this. Really, it is world-class beach volleyball. These are teams that are competing against the best in the world, and we've seen a good quality beach volleyball already today. So we hope you're enjoying the coverage. We'll be, of course, streaming all weekend. Matches again tomorrow, including quarterfinals. Oh, just clips the net there from the American serve. The Americans taking early advantage in this match, but the Japanese have got good fighting qualities. 3-5 now. Japan to serve.
The ball flying to the top of the net. After really well, she couldn't hit it. They're not to the place under the ball. Good touch, second and under. Hit early. Closing the gap, 4-5.
4-5 now, so after a scratchy start, the Japanese are starting to slip into gear. Still down by that point though. And a good timely point there for the Americans after the Japanese strung together a couple of useful points. So the Japanese able to slip out into a useful 6-4 lead. Sanj Carter here with me in commentary, Australian Beach Volleyball, a member of the Australian Tour, the Beach Tour for many seasons, and probably not as many. She doesn't want me to mention how many years she's been playing beach volleyball for, but now successfully running beach volleyball programs of her own, and of course was instrumental in running Australia's first under-23 beach volleyball competition in Coolangatta a couple of months ago, which was very successful, and I believe, Sanj, it's going to be a regular on the Australian Tour calendar.
Yeah, as far as I know, we're going to be having that up at Coolangatta for many, many years to come, leading into the Queensland Open. So it's a great 10 days of beach volleyball up there, and we had an amazing event there this year, and you'll see some of the champions of that under 23 competition actually playing in this World Tour event. So it's a really, really good feeder event into our senior level competition with our champions from that event playing here this weekend, which is great to see.
Nice snap of the wrist, Saudi puts down definitively into the stand.
I was saying a couple of minutes ago, Sanj, if the Americans are able to win this match, it will mean we'll have 5 different countries through already to the next round. We've had different countries winning every single match so far, so the Americans aiming to be the 5th country to have a team into Saturday's matches.
Well, that's a pretty cool stat, because you often see that the World Tour events are dominated by 2 or 3 different nations. So to have 4 or 5 different nations already through to round 2, and many of them which we haven't seen winning even on the World Tour before, like being Scotland, for example, having their first World Tour wins. So it's a bit of history being made here in Sydney, which is fantastic to see. And as we see, the US leading 8-6 here in this first set. And Pavlik really looking and finding the areas of the court where the Japanese team aren't, and as a result, a couple of more points on the board, and 9-6 lead here.
And we've been putting the call out all day to the volleyball fans watching, and we put out the call now, especially to our American fans, if they want to tell us a little bit about the Pavlik-Dowdy combination and their background in the sport. First time we've seen them down under here in Australia, so anything you'd like to tell us about where they've come from and their journey to get here to Manly Beach, please go to our Facebook page, Volleyball Australia Facebook page, and tell us what you know about the Pavlik-Dowdy combination, because they're going pretty well at the moment, and they're leading 10-6 as we go to a timeout.
Yeah, Ross, these girls are regulars on the AVP tour. I know they've played over there together, but also with a number of other partners as well. So if you've got any former partners or coaches or training partners, either in Pavlik or Amanda Dowdy, we'd love to hear from you and give us a bit of inside info on the girls. They've had a long flight out here, obviously about 14-15 hour flight to get out here to Australia to play, but they look like they're settling in really well, and it's pretty much the same conditions here as what the Northern Hemisphere winter is, so they'll be feeling pretty comfortable here and having that 10-6 lead, and seeing them come out of this timeout now. Japan have got a little bit of work to do. And you can see Brittany Pavlik back there signalling to a partner. There is a lot of wind. It's swirling, and there is a lot of wind out there, and you can see the lines and making sure that the actual court lines are being kept down with a bit of sand, because that can cause a bit of dramas as well.
The net pressure from Dowdy drawing the error. So 11-6 and timeout for Japan not breaking the momentum that they were hoping to break. With Padlock serving again.
Great swing there by the Japanese player, really working that inside hand of the blocker, and Amanda had been really strong at the net, so it was really good to see them be able to sneak one through her there, but yeah, very, very strong blocker.
This time down into the box down the front, so.
And then comes up with an attacking point of her own. Oh, teams just trading blows back and forth there. A bit of a two-ball war, and Japan come out on top there with a little bit of a hitting error from the USA and closing the gap there, 8-12.
8-12, Japan with the ball. So we go to the technical timeout, 13-8, the USA leading Japan by 5.
And USA going to the first technical timeout, leading 13-8 and looking pretty solid here. So if Japan want to follow the suit of their counterparts who went the match before, they're going to have to really try and change their strategy here and come out a little bit stronger in the second half of this set. But look, let's be honest, early days still yet, still trading blows, still figuring each other out. USA leading 13, Japan 8.
Welcome to the Volley Fest. 10 days of beach volleyball goodness. Starting with the next 3 days, the IPV World Tour of Beach Volleyball. The round of 24 will start at this match with 24 women's teams. Good hustle to play and good try to get it done. After today's games, we go down to the round of 16 tomorrow. There'll be 16 teams left in the game tomorrow. We go all the way through Sunday where we have our semi-finals and then our bronze medal and gold medal playoffs.
Oh, Japan pulls that one out and just saves that play with a little drop shot. And they're really digging in hard to try and salvage anything they can. And they'll go back with the serve now, 9-14. So, Ross, this is our first match we've had where we haven't had an Australian team on the stand. So we've got 2 international teams here. So if you're here down here watching, who do you support when there's no Aussie teams?
Well, I think exactly. Who do you support? It would be nice to see, and of course, being in the commentary box, we are completely unbiased, as anyone who's been listening today would be able to attest to. But it would be nice to see another nationality, another country go through to the next round. We have a Japanese team in there already. Wouldn't it be nice to see an American team also go through to the action tomorrow?
All right, so we hear Ross's vote, USA, getting in as many different countries for a bit of variety in. But look, this is only early on in this match still. We're got a 11-15 as Japan just grab another point back here. This is still really early days. Anyone's match still here.
It's 17-11 here, and one of the stars of Australian beach volleyball, Maria Faye Artacho Del Solar, joins us in the commentary box after a great win this morning. Faye, for you guys, early start, but you guys made the most of it.
Yeah, it was early, but we were ready. It's so good to be back playing Manly, my hometown. We play New Zealand, and yeah, it was really fun.
Now, we know, Faye, there's a good point there from the Americans. They are sneaking out to an 18-12 lead now. We know that over the years you're used to playing with a lot of different partners and teaming up with Jess Nagamo here. And how's that going? How are you feeling playing with Jess?
Yeah, loving it. We actually played together in 2013. We played about 4 to 5 months together around Asia and Europe, and obviously earlier this year in the Gold Coast, and back together again. So it's always fun playing with Jess. You know, we get along so well on and off the court, and I truly enjoy playing with her.
It's a really interesting environment, isn't it, at the moment for you girls down in Adelaide? I mean, there's such a nice compact group there, and you're all striving to get to the Commonwealth Games and to the Olympics, and there's a real mix and match going on every week. You seem to be, everyone's playing with different partners, you're trying things out. Is that a good, I suppose at this stage of the 4-year Olympic campaign, that's not a bad thing to be happening?
Yeah, early in the season, I guess you can't afford to do that. We're all a type bunch, so playing with different girls is always, you get a lot of each one. You learn a lot from each combination. So it's always, really positive.
Now, I think the Americans now are out to set point now. 2014, I think that is for the 2014. I think I'll just update the scoreboard on our live stream. Sorry, folks at home. So in fact, that'll be now 2015, I believe, for the Americans leading the Japanese. So, Maria Faye, what's your plans for once this tournament's over? You've got tomorrow, of course, now, which is great. You and Jess through to the next round. And there's the set, by the way. There's a set 21-15 going to the United States over Japan. What's your plan? You're heading off to Asia after this weekend?
Well, back here next weekend.
Of course, Oz. Yes. Let's not forget the Oz chance. But after that?
So heading off to Malaysia to play, and then China. So, really looking forward to starting the international season.
And tell us a little bit about your Olympic experience. Of course, you made your debut last year. I read in an interview you did with I think it was with the Saturday paper. You're talking about going to 4 Olympics. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I've always said that to myself, I want to make it to 4 Olympics at least, and Rio was the first one, so it was, 5, why not?
Yeah, why not 5? You're young enough to. And as we saw, Scotland today, one of their players, 46 years old, captain of their indoor team at the 2012 London Olympics. So
sky's the limit.
Absolutely. Did you feel that your Olympic experience made you a better player? Did you come away from that having learnt a lot about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I learned so much about myself, about what it requires to be a top athlete, to be an Olympic gold medalist, and I came back home with so much motivation and to take that next step, that new level, to become that better player on and off the court.
Well, we certainly love watching you play, and it's a great thrill to see you through to the next round, you and Jess, for tomorrow. Best of luck with that. Not sure what the weather forecast is, but it turned out not too bad. You guys got the best of the weather today, didn't you?
Yeah, it was perfect. It was actually very good. Manly never disappoints. Whether it's like this or sunshine, it's always great to be here.
Spoken like a true Manly girl. Maria Faye, lovely to catch up with you again. Good luck tomorrow. And yes, don't forget you can watch Maria Faye and Jessica's match tomorrow on the live stream. We'll be bringing that to you as well, as we have a timeout now. Well, in fact, the end of the match, end of that set, so 21-17. The Americans eventually getting over the line against Japan. So the first set goes to America's Pavlik and Dowdy over the Japanese combination of Take and Wada, as the sun is desperately trying to peek through. It could try a little bit harder, but yes, definitely trying to peek through. It's a little bit of wind, but it's not too bad, and at the moment the rain is staying away, so Really, it's good conditions for beach volleyball. It's not too hot. The players would be feeling quite comfortable out there, I'm sure. But how are they feeling about the scoreline? Well, the Americans are certainly very relaxed about it all. The Japanese combination trying to get through to join their counterparts in the second round in tomorrow's action. But they've got a bit of work to do after the Americans took the opening set 21-17. Second set now about to get underway. Got Volleyball Australia President Craig Carraher with us. Craig, isn't it great to have World Tour here at Manly Beach?
Ross Solly, always great to be here with you and to be at Manly Beach, home of Northern Beaches Volleyball Association. Of course, a great location, one of the spiritual homes of beach volleyball in Australia. Not the only one, there's a few others, aren't there, Ross? Yep. Shepparton comes to mind, first up. But no, it's fantastic as we go to 2-0 for USA over Japan. The USA team looking very strong. And what's great to see is just so many teams here, so many great teams, so many countries have committed to travel all the way down to Manly and enjoy our rain. As the Japanese are really struggling to stay in this match, it seems. They're holding on though. They're coached by, of course, the former Australian national team coach, Steve Tutton. This team Toyota as the USA go over the top for 3-0. Ross, so it's been absolutely fantastic and it's great to be back at Manly Beach. It's the second year of the Volley Fest. We have, of course, next year. We hope it'll be bigger and better. Lots of tickets still for sale down here on Saturday night. Sunday's close to a sellout, which will be great despite the bad weather. So we hope for a bit of sunshine and plenty of great beach volleyball action here at Manly Beach.
And you were mentioning, Craig, about the teams. If the United States is successful here, that will mean that we've had 5 matches in 5 different countries through to the next round, which I think is a great reflection of the quality of the competition we've got here. We've already seen Scotland through, which is fantastic. Japan have a team through, New Zealand have a team through, and Australia have a team through. So we're now looking to see if the Americans can join it and make it 5 different countries from 5 matches, which would be fantastic.
Yes, the Japanese struggling to keep this ball alive at the moment. The little dink shot from the United States does the trick, so they jump out to a 4-1 lead. Yeah, look, I'm not going to pretend to be neutral here, Ross. I'm pretty excited that Australia have a couple of teams already through to the main draw tomorrow, and of course have earned a place today. And I'm disappointed our other teams haven't made it through, but it's great for the sport to see Scotland finally get on the World Tour and finally get a win on the World Tour is just great for the Commonwealth Games, great for beach volleyball, great for the sport in Great Britain, and let's hope that they can go on. They'll be playing Australia, of course, in the next round, so I might be a little biased there as well. The Aussie girls will be up against the Scottish team. I think it's Bakara Palmer playing, I think, tomorrow against the Scottish team. Every team gets one game today. But what it shows is what a great idea it was to introduce 1- and 2-star events into the FIVB World Tour structure. It allows Australia to get back on the agenda, to upgrade from the Asian Championships in 2016, which we won first, second and third in the men, second in the women, and bring the World Tour to Australia twice in one summer. Not feeling like summer out here at the moment, though, I'm afraid. 4 points, 5 points to 2 now to the USA over Japan. And I've got to say, I know Steve Tutton's up there in the grandstand. He's watching this Toyota team carefully. They were knocked out early in Shepparton, and I'm sure he's very eager to see them get through to Saturday's big games.
And one last question before you go, because I know you've got lots of people to meet and lots of things to do, but I know you want to give a shout out to to some of the hard-working Volleyball Australia staff under the leadership of Baz Wedmeyer, who I think 3 or 4 days ago, Craig, you would have wandered down here and found it hard to find the beach here because it all got washed away and it looked like an absolute nightmare, didn't it?
To explain to everyone who is not in Sydney and not at Manly Beach, we came down here on the weekend. I was playing down here on the weekend with Baz, as it happens, on the beach with the FIVB supervisor. Glorious conditions and the tide was rising. Then we had the king tide, and the sandbags were introduced to where the court is now, and had they not been here, all this sand would have been washed away. For those who know Manly, the ocean was up against the promenade wall at Manly, the entire length of Manly Beach. And we haven't seen that for about 12 months, 18 months here. But it is this time of year. We knew it was coming. That's why the tournament wasn't on last weekend, despite the sunny weather. It wasn't on because we knew the king tide was on there. So Baz Wattermeyer, Wayne, the team from Volleyball Australia, led by Matthew Merrio, Kasha, Verity, all the volunteers, I mean, they're outstanding. And I just take my hat off to them. I come to these events and I'm down here every day, but I marvel at their enthusiasm, and it's always a smiling face that greets you here at Manly Beach and around Australia. And we're blessed to have great volunteers in our sport, and without them this sport wouldn't happen, and we certainly wouldn't be on Manly Beach. So to all of them, to you too, Ross, for all your work and the work of all of the staff and all of the referees, officials, coaches. Beach volleyball has just got such a bright future, and it's exciting to see it all come together in one place.
Indeed it is, as the Americans take control again. Craig's got to go off now and get us all lunch, so I've got to let him go. Anyone listening who knows Craig would know that would never happen. But yes, thank you very much, Craig, and Volleyball Australia is blessed to have somebody of his passion and expertise in the role of president. So many sports have people at the top who, whilst very enthusiastic, maybe don't have the passion for the actual game that Craig has for volleyball, and we're very fortunate in Australia to have him at the top, leading Australia not only in beach volleyball back on the world tour, but also playing such an important role in getting our indoor teams back in the World League and the Grand Prix, the Women's Grand Prix, and also setting up the Centre of Excellence in Canberra for our women, which has been fantastic. And I know Shannon Windsor and the team down there are really putting in the hard yards and preparing that women's squad to take on the rest of the world later this year. That's 10-4. 10-4 here at Manly Beach, and the Americans firmly in control. The Japanese in danger here of going out in straight sets unless they can do something rather special. At the moment, Pavlik and Dowdy are well and truly in control. They took the first set 21-17. They're looking pretty comfortable at 10-4 in the second. And yes, as Craig mentioned, the weather this week's been quite horrific, but right now it's probably perfect playing conditions. It's overcast, but there's very little wind, and the rain is staying away, so be pretty happy with the way things are at the moment if you're out there playing, I think. Now, can the Japanese get back into this match? There's one way to do it. Drive that spike into the block. 10-5 though. They need a few more of those. That's a soft point to give up when you're down 10-5, so disappointing result there for the Japanese. Kerry Potas is here with me. Kerry, what do you make of the tournament so far today on your beloved Manly Beach?
I'm loving it. The weather is perfect, actually. There's no sun, there's no rain. I mean, there is sun, but there is a lot of cloud, which makes it really nice to play in. But great to see the Americans and the Japanese really tussling it out here on centre court, and really looking forward to an awesome, awesome World Tour event here on my home beach. How lucky are we?
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And we've been talking with Craig and with everyone about how so far today we've had 4 matches, 4 different countries winning and through to the next round, which is great for the sport. Not great if you're Australian, of course, because that means a couple of Australian teams have lost. But I think it's been fantastic. Kerry, I know you were closely involved with the Scottish team. How great to see those guys get through to the next round.
I wouldn't say that I was closely involved, but I did meet up with them a few days ago because their fitness coach happened to be our fitness coach, Natalie, and my fitness coach from many years ago, and he now works at the Scottish Institute of Sport. So he hooked me up with them, and I welcomed them to Manly and put them through their paces for a couple of hours. And yeah, good to see them win, but not good to see them beat the Aussies, though. Come on, Ross.
In the commentary position, Kerry, Sanj and I pride ourselves on our impartiality. 13-7 now. So the Japanese really need to dig deep, otherwise this is going to be a quick exit for Taki and Wada. They didn't have a great tournament in Shepparton, and they would have been hoping for a better performance here. 14-7 as we head to a technical timeout, and really some tough questions need to be asked by the Japanese about where they are and how they get back into this match, because they are in some serious trouble, having lost the first set 21-17 and trailing 14-7 in the second, as Sanj Carter joins me back in the commentary box.
Yeah, thanks, Ross. And as you said, Japan have got a bit of soul searching to do to try and get back in this match. The US have been really dominant, not only in the first set, but in the main part of this second set as well. And look, they're only 7 points away from closing out this match and going through to the second round. So Japan got a minute now to sit down and try and figure out their plan of attack on the second part of this set. And look, they'll go out and give it all. They know it's a single elimination competition, so they can only leave it all out there. So let's see what they come up with.
And you were here with us last year, so we'll bring the girls back out and just have a bit more of a big chat. We had an awesome time with Volley Fest last year. We said, hey Red, do you want to come back and do it again? Pretty tough question. Come and hang out with us for a few days and maybe twist it an arm or two. And a bit of history here as well. You played some World Tour events here on Missouri Beach a few years ago, not that long ago.
I was lucky enough to be here in the 90s, and I won 2 world events here at
Great start by Japan coming out of that timeout. Exactly what they want to, making the side out. Nice pass, nice set, finds a high line, and they'll go back to serve.
On the outside court. A little Friday afternoon snack talk showdown, so it could be Andre again. That'll be a lot of fun. But mate, hang around with us for a few days, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the greats of the sport and a good friend of ours, mate. So we'll play some volleyball. Come and hang out with us from time to time, Randy, and enjoy the next few days.
Thank you, Anna.
Awesome. Over to you, Charlie. Stokey's in the house. Okay.
Volley Fest. Between DJ Crawley and Randy Stokos, there are 5 world championships there. Volley has 0 on him.
Stokey said it's a volleyball that make a great industry.
Oh, great exchange there by the Japanese and the US team. Really going toe-to-toe there, and Japan coming up with the goods. So they've had a couple of good points coming out of that technical timeout, and is exactly where they want to be right now. Oh, really tight set there, but great work to cut that ball past the blocker and land clear in front of the defender. And that brings up point number 10 for Japan.
We're joining us for a few days, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some beach volleyball friends of ours. We're going to have a chat with them. Also, we're really lucky to have such an awesome family, a community look to this sport. It's absolutely worldwide. We try to down this time, Japan. We must win that second set for them. So, of course, 3 days at FIVB.
So do or die now here for Japan. They have to win this set to stay in the match, to force this to a decider. They've got 5 points yet to make up, 11-16.
I like the call, and I was a little bit of a forward there for the switch.
second set, 17-11. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Rosie House has got loads of food, coffee, drinks, fancy little hot and brew, so a nice espresso coffee. Still on in for the afternoon. It's all part of Rolly Fest.
Japan very happy there getting that free point. Service into the net there from the US, so Japan will go back 12-7, still looking to try and close up this gap. Oh, and Daddy bringing the hammer, just sending that ball straight back to Japan there, saying, nope, that point is ours. 18-12, they can sense it now, 3 points away from taking this match and moving into the second round.
Japan this time, tagging the line, bouncing that one. If beach volleyball, any part of the sideline is good. That's in.
Oh, got the no one cross call and delivered it. So Amanda, great swing cross court. That'll send her back to serve. 19-13. And she's not letting that ball across her side of the net. So they got a little side there for Japan. She looked, swung hard and found the Dowdy block, and that point was over and bringing up match point. Oh, but Japan making them earn it. They're going to have to go one more. One match point saved. A little tussle near the net there, and it looks like it's going to be called against the US, and that'll be point to Japan. And in change here, so Japan saving a couple of match points, and US go to the northern end of the beach now, 20-15, still have 5 set points. Oh, there we go. And look, we've seen that a couple of times already today, where teams match point down and just absolutely throwing everything at it and really just making them have to earn that point. No freebies out there at all. And they saved another one. That's 4 points in a row there from Japan. And US are calling a timeout. They're a little bit worried here. Even though they've still got 3 match points, they're going to sit down. They're going to try and rattle the Japanese team back here, because they've just hit a little purple patch and just really making the US earn this.
We've still got 3 more huge games to come. Will you please put your hands together? Bring that team from Japan. Make some noise to Japan. And please welcome Team USA. Alright, so let's bring up 3 points to
welcome the ladies back out. US still have that match point, 2017. Japan to serve.